So why don't we do this? Maybe Waheed, I'll let the panelists introduce yourself briefly, quickly, please.
All right, my name is Waheed Adam. I'm the chairperson of iTouch, a company based in South Africa, working and focusing a lot on the African continent. We're an aggregator, we provide CPOS platforms, and an age of security is our future. Oh, and I am the vice chair of the Mobile Ecosystem Forum. I sit on the board.
Thank you, Waheed. My name is Inderpal Mumick. I'm the CEO of Dotgo. Dotgo endeavors to be your trusted partner for RCS messaging with the best platform, best support, and the best expertise. And we do that in two ways. If you want to send RCS messages to anywhere in the world, to anybody in the world, we help you deliver that with the best platform and at the best possible price. We also help telcos monetize RCS, control spam, control phishing, and deliver a high-quality experience. Thank you.
My name is Monwabisi Mabude, Senior Manager at Telkom. I look after WASP portfolio, which encompasses bulk SMS, RCS, your USSDs, and all value-added services under aggregators. And I also look after interconnect and international services. Thank you.
Hi, this is Desh, Chief Operating Officer at Comviva. We have a bunch of products that we supply to telcos. We are the largest provider of mobile wallet and messaging platforms across Africa, and really look forward to this panel. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Craig Selby. I'm a director at Infobip. Been in the mobile VAS space for over 20 years. I currently operate at Infobip in our RCS business unit, where we're competing with the likes of Dotgo across the globe to offer both enterprises and telcos RCS solutions.
Okay, great guys. So just a quick hands, have anyone used RCS on their phone? Could we have a show of hand? Okay, so it's about 10% maybe, 10, 15%. So, okay, fair enough. So the first question is that, RCS we're banking on RCS, it's rich communication, which will impact actually ecosystem in general, payments, others as well. But I think maybe the first question I have is to Inderpal and Craig. In comparing RCS and SMS and WhatsApp, what are the advantages of RCS? Why do we care about RCS? We have channel, WhatsApp, SMS. How does it, what does it mean for the Africa businesses and consumers?
So RCS, you need the mic. Thank you. So RCS, as you compare to SMS, is a rich channel, a very, very rich channel that supports pictures, videos, a much better person-to-person communication than is possible with 160-character text messages from SMS that came out in the 1990s. So it's the next generation. In fact, I would dare to claim that in another 10 years, there'll be no SMS left. A time will come within the next 10 years when we will send our last SMS message. What about maybe 40 years after we send the first SMS message? So it's a huge leap forward. But what it means for businesses is that it's an elevated experience when you are sending business messages to people, whether it's authentication, whether it is notifications, service messages, or marketing messages, promotions. You get a much richer experience being delivered to your consumers, and you get analytics, a much, much better analytics. In SMS, you can get receipts for delivery, but you never get a message or never get a response back if somebody read it or not. With RCS, you get a read receipt. In the case of SMS, the message seems to come from some number, some nondescript number. In the case of RCS, it comes from a name, the name of the business. Now, businesses like the fact that the name is in front of the customer. In the case of RCS, a message comes with the logo of the business. Again, marketeers love that the logo of the business is in front of the customers. It's easy for customers to respond to messages because, well, they say a picture, they say a video, and they can click on a button to respond. So much easier to click on a button than to start typing messages. RCS is two-way, SMS is not. So you can actually, in every country, RCS is two-way. In SMS, in some countries it is two-way, some countries it is not. So it becomes a more interactive session. AI becomes possible. So you can actually automate the responses, you can build applications with RCS. In fact, many businesses find that they can replace almost all of the functionality of apps over RCS without the need for the consumer to download an app. So it's much more advanced than SMS. And as I go through these features, you'll realize, well, this sounds similar to WhatsApp, doesn't it? So it provides features, services like WhatsApp because similar to WhatsApp, it's a channel that works over data. So all of the rich data capabilities are available. Now, to contrast with WhatsApp, this works in your built-in app. So there's no new app to download. So it works in your Google Messages app. It works in your iPhone's iMessage app. So that's a big difference. It works in your built-in app. Second, it is very tightly integrated with the Google ecosystem. So they've already started launching features like if you, in some selected countries, where if you search for a business and support, you will start seeing a response, a click to RCS for support. So these are some of the highlights. I'm sure Craig would maybe comment over a few more.
Yeah, I think Inderpal's covered the majority of the services. So I think just linking to this morning's session around security, the big one that I wanted to echo is, and that's where we really need to work together, is for the end user is that verified, that branded agent, which will move away from what the myriad of numbers that users see in their inboxes today. So it'll become, pull the brands up front and make that user inbox a little bit more, I suppose, business friendly than it is today. To add to that, another big feature, I suppose, for businesses and the telcos in the market with RCS is it's a telco-aligned solution. So from a regulatory standpoint, local telcos will start looking to bring local regulations into it, which aids the consumer, but also gives some credibility to the channel. Whereas, some of the OTT players are, a law unto their own in many respects in terms of what they do and how they commercialize and change from time to time. So working in hand, that will bring some kind of stability for the consumers as well as businesses, we believe, from an RCS standpoint. I think, like I say, Inderpal covered many of the I suppose, the user benefits. And then, just the financial aspect is, retaining that revenue in the market. I think that's a big one for Africa, right? Operators will bill for that locally. It's not money leaving the markets. It's money that local businesses will pay for the services here, and carriers will be able to retain in market. So that keeps it going. So that's a big one for businesses and telco.
Okay, great.
Just to
go ahead,
add one quick point, from a user perspective, we are in the world of reels and shorts where the attention span is, very, very short right now. And you want to see, feel, and that is what RCS provides, like what Inderpal covered. And text with link going somewhere else, I think that is something which users want to avoid. And if RCS is able to provide that in-line experience, richer experience with video and the images, I think that's what the Gen Z and the current users are looking for.
Okay, so I want to switch gear to MNOs because, we have an MNO here and also, from tackling the challenges, I mean, how do you tackle the challenges of RCS adoption? Because at the end of the day, we want this to scale and quickly. And I think this is a question for Mo and also Desh.
Yeah, I think the approach that Google used in terms of including the operators in terms of the ecosystem and allowing operators to participate and control, so have a sort of a control, because in terms of enabling the RCS, it's enabled through the network. Similar how we enabled MMS, because it will be a provision done on the networks. And then RCS also communicates via the cloud in terms of the network and then the provisioning. So that enables operators to have some sort of control. And then also how Google has allowed operators to use RCS on their own without any cost to them, in terms of promoting, using for their own campaigns, that allows operators to ensure that we are able to demonstrate the use of RCS and the benefit of it to our customers. Because the more they see communication on our network from the telcos, they are able to say, okay, there is this service that is working, and I can get so much from this service.
Dash, your thoughts?
Sure. So we work with almost 40-50% of telcos within Africa in terms of one way or the other, either securing the network or providing them some communication gateways, CPaaS platforms. And we've been talking to all of them to see how we can enable RCS as a channel. But the key limitation is whether Google is ready to, and does it prioritize these markets. And clearly, it is not on the radar so far. We really hope that now with iOS announcement and also a lot of success that is happening and the volumes picking up in India and other markets, Africa would come in Google's priority, and we will see many more markets enabled on RCS, and then they are able to launch. So at this stage, I would say it's very, very early for telcos to even think about adopting and really launching it in a big way. And second aspect I would say is telcos have a lot of transactions which they do for their own services, whether it is about bundle purchase, whether it's about mobile money, which is primarily driven on USSD, and we power a lot of those 100+ billion transactions every month for a lot of those telcos on USSD. Now, if those transactions are moved to an RCS where you have a carousel, where you're, let's say we have micro-lending use case. Now, if somebody is able to view that handset, click, purchase, it's a beautiful experience, right? From a plain USSD text-based experience to this, I mean, the adoption rate, the conversion rate, and the overall monetary benefit is huge. But I think first priority is Google's attention to the African markets is, I would say, top priority. And the second is also a little bit of a network evolution for the African markets to be able to offer it. So I think those two, and then the operators using it for their own use cases first. Those three would be my top priority for RCS to really pick up in a big way in African market.
Okay. Great answer. So I'm going to shift different pricing. It's about pricing. I mean, at the end of the day, how much is it going to cost me for businesses and consumers? So this is a question for Waheed, and then let the other panel add on to that. So pricing model, we have to build. What's going on with the pricing in RCS today? Is it international versus domestic? What are your thoughts around the pricing model? Yeah.
So I want to pick up from where Dash said, because that's very relevant to the question, in that we have most of Africa unplugged at this point. But there are South African market and the Nigerian market which are fully plugged. So if we use that as a base, and let's talk South Africa for now, we have a situation where the networks are, and maybe I should go Google first, has not fully collaborated with all the networks on the same basis, and they're leaving some of that work to be done with the likes of Dotgo and Infobip and others. And then you have the situation where the networks themselves have not yet given the let's call it the full thought of the opportunity that exists around RCS, and how would they actually see the future with it. It's like almost playing the game, as Dash said, Let's see what the market does. Let's see what other country does. And then we'll decide how we're going to do it here. But in the meantime, the market can be ready. The industry is ready. And we're excited to kind of launch new technologies. The use cases are phenomenal, as Inderpal kind of intimated. And then when we talk about security, which was an earlier discussion, it kind of speaks to some of that. Maybe not the P2P side, which Simeon spoke about a lot, but certainly in terms of the enterprise side. So it answers so many problems. And then as a consumer, which is, let's say, you in the audience, why would you want to watch a black and white TV when you now got Ultra, HD, LED, HQ, all the acronyms? And that's exciting, right? And, someone used the word Gen Zs. Why would they want to see something in simple text when it could be rich? So everything else is kind of ready other than the guys that are driving it. And that's Google, that's the MNOs. And now when we come to pricing, to your question, is we want, firstly, market awareness, which I think we as an industry are really driving. And as the market becomes aware, curiosity sets in, and then the showcase of what the technology and use cases are about makes it exciting. And now people want it. And then we've got to say, okay, but hold on. Okay, IS has just come on, but at the moment you can't really have IS in Africa. Okay, and maybe I can't do it in Tanzania, but I can do it for you in Nigeria and Cape Town. So there's those kind of elements, right? But the market is starting to be curious. And then when it comes to pricing, it helps if there's a clear commercial model. Because right now, we're starting on a certain base saying to the market, we want you to be aware, here's the use case, and maybe it's going to cost you the same as an SMS if it's a simple RCS. But then we know the MNOs will soon wake up and go, actually, we don't like that commercial model anymore. Right? And then it all changes. So it becomes a rocky ride, and we certainly don't need that. It's like, for Pete's sake, make up your mind, what do you think the opportunities are? What should the commercial model look like? Let's make it appeasing because we want market adoption. And look at your real cost, and then base it from there so that we can all move forward.
If I can just add to that. Okay, I think we, as operators, we're in a difficult position because in terms of the control of, I'd say, partnership, it's on one-sided sort of, the terms can change anytime. And when you have revenue that is you have like the current revenue and you're replacing it with a partnership that is, you are not certain that it will continue and be as, and then you sort of move all that revenue to another party and the terms change. How do you do that without that assurance? So it's a difficult one for the operators, but at the same time, in terms of allowing, because the technology is evolved, and in other countries you can't send your normal text, like America, where the networks will not allow the traditional SMS. You have to manipulate in terms of the configuration to allow the SMSs. Therefore, it forces the operators to move to a technology that allows everyone. But in terms of the revenue, we still want that revenue. And with the participation and the pricing as from the product side, you can launch to promote the adoption, but in terms of sustainability and then also in terms of ensuring that you also protect your revenue as well as operators.
So I guess what I'm hearing is that there's a lot to consider, yes. and I'm absolutely not in disagreement to that. Yeah. But can you have a robust session for the rest of November and come with a decision in December? I mean, that's what we're talking about. Like when and how long will it take that you guys make that call, right? Make that decision. And don't forget, in the meantime, you're losing the text messaging to WhatsApp.
No, just I think maybe is this the Kodak moment for messaging, right? Is what telcos need to look at. And in 2009, in Comviva, we had built an instant messenger and we had launched it across all operators in India, which is, let's say, a WhatsApp equivalent for telcos, and it interoperated, and we were doing about million plus messages, and I sent that report to Vodafone and Airtel, and the response from the business users was, it's going to cannibalize my SMS, and please stop it. So after 6 months of running that service, we were asked to stop it, and it was a telco-led IM GSMA spec solution that we had built. So WhatsApp came in and it has taken over. And now again, RCS is an opportunity which is, I think, a codec moment for messaging, which the industry need to figure out a way, contracts, etc., whichever way long-term ones, but not to lose this one.
Yeah, I think the operators, maybe they lost it in when they, if you look at the MMSs, and we looked at platform, we acquired platforms, we had partnership behind the platform, and with the SMS and MMS evolving to your IM messaging, then they didn't want to continue investing in those platforms. It could have been Comviva or coming up with a platform instead of Google, and it would have been a different case. But yeah.
Matt, I would like to almost challenge I think Waheed used the term fully plugged, or someone said SA fully plugged. I'd like to challenge that on the premise of, I think when Google has finalized agreements with majority operators, or at least major operators in the market, it gets to a stage that it's fully plugged. I don't believe we're in a stage of fully plugged at the moment. Definitely not for South Africa, for that matter. So that needs to be sorted out, and when that's obviously addressed, we sit in a stage of almost limbo, where we're in I would say like a pilot commercial mode, where we're trying to raise awareness, trying to get brands used to the service, and let them understand what RBM is and how it can affect their business, their user journeys, etc. And then comes the next challenge, is what we're seeing in the other markets. I'm working across the US, Europe, LATAM. You get the split view from the carriers. And you get the view from the carriers where they're seeing that this is the next evolution of SMS. This is going to upgrade. This gives us a way to increase our revenues on SMS, even though we've got to potentially share revenue, with the third party. But this gives us a channel to, challenge the OTT providers and grow the revenues. And then you get the flip side where it goes, this is going to cannibalize my A2P. How do I protect my current traffic? So this is what we're seeing across the globe at the moment.
And I would add, pricing for any new product is a challenge. It goes through various cycles of learning from the market, introducing something, getting feedback, making changes before you will get it right. So it cannot be done. You cannot have a final price be issued on day one and expect that will stick for the next several years, because you have to adapt. You have to adapt to the market. In fact, for RCS, given the position it holds, it's an upgrade to SMS, but it also starts competing with WhatsApp. The real challenge for the pricing and for RCS competition is WhatsApp. The SMS traffic is moving to WhatsApp. Promotional traffic moves to WhatsApp because it's richer, it's two-way. Notifications now moving to WhatsApp because they're coming out with extremely aggressive pricing. So as the entire ecosystem, whether it's Google, whether it is telco, whether it is aggregators like Waheed, have to look at what you take to the market. You have to be able to compete with WhatsApp. So what we've seen in pricing coming out from telcos and from aggregators around the world is that, well, let's price it similar to or a bit higher than SMS, but also let's price it below WhatsApp. And that's the way it's been launched in many markets around the world. Of course, it kind of runs into challenges like, well, WhatsApp can change its price. One company can change its price globally. So what you may have thought was a price below WhatsApp in 3 months becomes a price higher than WhatsApp. And then how do you react to that? But from the RCS pricing model, they've defined like 3 different pricing points for RCS. A price point for text messages sent over RCS with read receipts with trust marks, with branding, which is usually similar to SMS, kind of the same price as an SMS. Then a price point for rich messages which have pictures, videos, which will typically be 30, 40, 50% higher than SMS price, still keeping it below WhatsApp. And then there is a price for a conversation, a two-way, unlimited messages back and forth, which can be 2 to 3 times the cost of an SMS. And this was kind of the price. This was pretty much the status. It is a status today. But then WhatsApp came out with a price announcement that all P2A messages will be completely free. So if a user initiates a conversation, it will be totally free. We're yet to see a reaction to that from the telcos on RCS. How will they react? Because how do you prevent that traffic from moving over to WhatsApp? And that's the cream of the cream traffic, right? Cream de la cream, because it's a user-initiated traffic. What the user really wants, there is no concern of spam. You are servicing the needs of the consumer. And now it is free on Meta.
Okay. I think this is going to be an interesting conversation. I loved it. So audience, please continue to interact with the panelists over break. We'll take a 5-10 minute break. It's a teaser, so I hope we'll have another session of this pretty soon. Thank you very much, panelists. Give them a big hand of welcome. Yeah.